going to introduce David Vineski. He's the digital campaign manager for Intel Corporation. During his 9-year Intel tenure, David has filled a variety of digital marketing roles, including encompassing internet marketing strategy, global digital and partner marketing, and most recently as America's Marketing Digital Campaigns Manager. Most recently, David helped to develop an industry-leading strategy for Intel's online engagement and social media initiatives in the U.S., garnering industry recognition for his innovative and unique approach. So with that, I'm going to turn it over, I think, if David is ready, to show his PowerPoint slide deck. Very good. So with that, David Vineski.
So a lot of familiar people out here. Nobody turned me into the brand police for using Inside Intel. Martha, I'm looking at you. Okay, good. So thanks for coming out today, you guys. You're going to hear some really complimentary stuff with regards to my presentation that you heard from Chaz. We've spent a lot of time working together over the last couple of years and have built some pretty cool programs. One thing I want to say is you think of Intel and you don't think of a lot of great social media opportunities. We're trying to change that perception. I think that there's a lot of good people at Intel doing great things in social media. I've been fortunate to have been given the opportunity in America's Marketing Group to have a decent box of money to dip into and the opportunity to really test the waters on some new things. I have a boss that really encourages innovation, test and learn, and risk-taking. Some of those don't always turn out exactly how we want them to turn out, but you learn from everything that you do. I had a pretty painful experience a couple years ago that I'll share with you. And those of you that know me better than others in the room know how many hours I spent deliberating over some of these things. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. So when we're talking about the evolution of online marketing, there's really 3 phases from my perspective. You have the portal era, the search era, and the social media era. When we're talking about portals, it was an easy way to aggregate content from multiple sources into one destination, right? So your Yahoos, your MSNs, your AOLs. It made the ability to bring content in one area much more manageable than going to multiple places. With the search era, context really is king. So Chaz touched on it a little bit. You know, when you're looking at Mitsubishi's campaign for Lancer, I think he made a great assessment when he said that their Google search page was really their homepage. One of the things that we've noticed a lot is people don't really type in a company URL anymore. They'll do a Google search on it, and we pay for all of those. So it saves, 8, 9, 10 keystrokes? It's really valuable data for us to be at the top of those search results. Because when they're Googling that, if we can be higher on the list, we're obviously more relevant and more opportune to click on that link driving to our site. The last one, social media era. Contacts are definitely king. We did a program with Dig mid-year last year that actually turned into about an 8-month engagement. And when you think of Dig and Intel, you don't necessarily think of kind of an intuitive partnership. I'll get to that a little bit later, but one of the things that we noticed with Dig is that it's a very relevant audience for us. And oh, by the way, their traffic numbers are staggering. 125 million page views a month, 25 million registered users. That's a really big nugget for us. If we can attach to that, we're getting relevant eyeballs to content we want them to see in an audience that is extraordinarily valuable to us. At Federated is a guy named Josh Madison, and I said, "Hey, Josh, we should. Have you seen the site Pop URLs?" And Josh was like, "No, I haven't." And I said, "Well, you should. It's in your advertising network." And he kind of got that hangdog look, and he's like, "Oh God, Vineski gave me another site that I need to go look at." So I said to him, I said, "Well, hey, like Chaz said, let's talk about replicating Pop URLs and doing it for an IT audience." I mean, guys, this was literally a marketing campaign that was back of the napkin over coffee one morning. And that's one of the neat things about my job and Chaz's job, is that we can create these kind of opportunities just sitting down and figuring out what the customer wants. You find that sweet spot and you give it to them. So we've gotten an amazing amount of traffic on this site, and I think I'm covering it. I'll cover it in 2 more slides. One thing that we did in terms of bringing the audience something that they were looking for is we partnered with Kevin Rose and Dig. Like I said, the audience target at Dig skews very, very well to our IT audience. I'm not gonna run through the numbers. Everybody in Intel knows what those numbers are. Everybody outside of Intel probably doesn't care what those numbers are. But let's just say it's bringing a really very relevant message to a very relevant audience. Sat down with Kevin Rose in San Francisco and said, "We'd like to work with you. We think that you have a great audience. What would it take to do something innovative with you?" And what he said to me was, our audience has been clamoring for another visualization. If you go to labs.dig.com, you'll see that they have a subset of visualizations that show what people are digging on Dig. And it seems a little pedantic, but people use this stuff. I mean, they have it as their screensaver. They have it as their as a downloadable executable file. They use it. It's pretty cool stuff. I actually tried to get the branded Intel screensaver. I don't have it, but if you look at ARC on labs.dig.com, that's what we worked on with Kevin and team. And essentially what it is it's just we worked with him to identify what the audience wanted, and we built it for him. We're lucky at Intel to have a pretty good sized budget to be able to go out and intersect these guys and help them continue to innovate. We've got a 40-year history of innovation at Intel, and kind of our goal is to help bring others forward. And I see somebody smiling in the back. They must be looking at some funny things posted on ARC. We can't always control what goes on there. That's one downfall of user-generated content. But just a quick quote from ClickZ. We got written up in ClickZ and in Business Week. Dig recently partnered with Intel on a campaign that further demonstrates how a partnership with the right site brand can deliver great results. I think that's key. Kind of mimic what Chaz says, you don't always have to build it yourself. Go where, kind of fish where the fish are, and really take advantage of an established audience that gets a tremendous amount of traffic. And we did that with Dig. There's actually one more comment on there. So, I talked about the relevance of the audience. I talked about innovation. It's basically, we're really similar with our approach to our products. So you look at what Andy Grove and Robert Noyce did 40 years ago. Kevin Rose, Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Cantor, the guys that create Dig and Facebook and Graffiti, they're doing that now on an entirely different level with an entirely different medium, and we're trying to help them do that.